Hi, welcome. I'm Heather Legacy. I'm a licensed professional counselor and a certified life coach. And this semester, I'm teaching at the University of Hartford, Psych of Adjustment and Stress Management. I'm here with all of us today to help you to consider how we can make life-enhancing choices during a time when we feel like we have so few choices. So I want to begin with something that I say regularly to clients, to myself. It appears in books that I've written and students. And that is that every decision we make brings us closer to where we want to go or further away. So this segment, I'd like to talk about life-enhancing decisions. The two most important questions perhaps we can ever ask ourselves. Is this choice that I am now making life-enhancing or life-diminishing? And when I think about every moment of our lives really is comprised of four things. The first is the circumstance. The second is our thought, our commentary on the circumstance. The third one is a direct relationship to that thought, which is our emotion about the circumstance motivated by the thought. And lastly, the action. So there are four components to every moment we live. The first one often is random. Things happen. That circumstance just is. Our thought about that circumstance is what actually changes how we experience things. Is it life-enhancing or is it life-diminishing? From that thought, we will feel motivated or depressed. We will feel inspired or discouraged. We will feel fearful or calm. When we go back to the message we're telling ourselves about the circumstance, that's where we can make change. The only other component of those four elements of every moment that we can do anything about is the last one, our action. So in order to make our life what we want it to be, then we need to consider life-enhancing choices. And those come in two categories: what we think about repeatedly and how we behave, the choices that we're making in our behavior. So what do I mean by life-enhancing? I mean ways of thinking and behaving that improve your wellness, that improve the well-being of those that you're around or those that you are connected to, even in social media. Anybody within the reach of your thought will be encouraged or discouraged by the choices that you're making to share the thoughts that you have, whether they're life-enhancing or life-discouraging. Also, in a greater component, we are thinking about how we can add to the greater good in the world. So those choices that we're making every single day that affect the quality of our lives also affect the quality of those within our reach. And they also impact the greater world. Because just like this virus that we're all experiencing, every contact impacts another contact. It's a web, it's a network, and it goes out from one person and touches multiple people that we can't even count how many people are affected. And I would like to say that that's always been true, whether it's our emotion or our belief system. We impact our own well-being and the well-being of the greater world, every choice we make. So The choices, that we have choices. That's one of the things that I think is misunderstood. When we feel like our choices have been constricted, as they have right now, we often tell ourselves, I have no choice. And that is false, because even in prison, even in a concentration camp, even on a deathbed, we have choices. We have choices about the message we tell ourselves and the messages we tell other people. You will never be in any moment of your life when you don't have some choice. And so focusing on the choice and focusing on the conscious choice that you want to make that will be life enhancing is what we have the ability to do, and we have the responsibility to do. So in those moments that we're all experiencing when we feel like other people are dictating what we can and can't do, within that limited scope, consider your choices. That's life enhancing. Paying attention to the other greater system outside of that is not life enhancing. Bringing it into what is your life enhancing thought or action? What is your contribution to the people around you, to the people within your reach, to the greater world? That's one of the decisions that every single one of us makes with each action that we take. The other really valuable and, I would say, challenging behavior is to imagine that every single concern in the world is multifaceted. Every experience of our life is multifaceted. If we are able to hold it in our hand and be curious and keep on turning it, just like a large prism, we will see that there are multiple facets, some that are discouraging and some that are encouraging, some that are lead to death and some that lead to life. Keep rotating that prism in your hand. Pay attention to all the multifaceted components that influence this moment. They are not all awful. They do not all lead to bad things. There's always also within that same sphere things that lead to life, things that lead to good. Life-enhancing opportunities for you to learn about yourself, for you to learn about other people, for you to consider what meaning does my life have? How could I develop myself so that what I contribute to other people has more of a sense of purpose? So maintaining a multifaceted perspective. Don't get locked into one facet, either the positive or the negative, because all of those exist simultaneously. We just keep rotating it so that we are well informed, so that we are looking at the whole of the problem and the whole of multiple solutions, multiple ways of contributing to what improves this moment. We are always either adding to what makes this moment worse or what improves the moment. So that's the second one. The first one was that we have choices. The second one is maintaining a multifaceted perspective. The last one that I want you to consider is that I want you to view yourself as a work in progress and to view life as a work in progress. One of the things that I'm noticing very astutely this spring as my whole life interaction has become smaller is that I've been spending a lot more time out in nature. And nature doesn't just go from winter to spring like that. Nature makes life-giving, life-enhancing movement, moment by moment. I planted some seeds on one day, and 5 days later, there were little bits of growth. And it's fascinating that nature shifts bit by bit. Life is enhanced in nature. It goes from being dead or being inactive, dormant, to growing not all at once, bit by bit. So what I'd like to have you and to have take on myself as a challenge is to see you and life itself as being a growth opportunity where we are holding with compassion progress, movement towards improvement. Take that on individually, that you have an opportunity to grow and develop moment by moment. Doesn't matter what happened the last moment. This moment is a new moment where you can make life-enhancing decisions about where you're going to allow your mind to stay, what thoughts you're going to repeat, and what behaviors you're going to make. So those are two areas that we are constantly available to us to decide. And I'm asking you, I'm inviting myself to make these decisions consciously. 3 things. Life enhancing. 1, you have choices. Pay attention to what they are. Make decisions that will lead you closer to where you want to go instead of further away. 2, maintain a multifaceted perspective. And 3, to see yourself and life itself as a growth opportunity. Thank you for being with me for this moment. I wish you wellness.